Okay, guys, so I have a new camera program, and you were supposed to see the first part of me putting on the chameleon powder, which was grass green crimson. And somehow it sped up the entire thing, which gives it no volume, and I apologize for that. But all I did was I took my brush, same brush I'm going to use for this one, just a different color, and then I cleaned it up, but you will see that in fast forward. Just no talking. Alright, so I'm going to finish the rest of this shell, and this one is flashing brown, red, purples. Now, I'm not as worried about the cleanup with this one because what you see that goes down first is what you're going to see in the finished project. So I'm just going to town here because that's what you're going to see. Whatever is already down, this won't cover it. So I'm not going to fast forward you on this one, because this will just take me just a few seconds. I'm hoping the colors are right that I chose. Pretty sure they will be. They look very similar, but they're not. Now these chameleon powders work best if you back them in black. But you can really back them in any color. They're just more color changing if you use the black. So I do prefer to back them in black. And this is a very large turtle. Very deep turtle. So we're going to be doing 2 layers of black. Because I don't want it to flash cure, and with something this deep, it definitely will. As you can see, I'm not being careful at all because I know this won't cover what I've already put down. So you're not going to see this color except for in the shell part. Make sure I get up under these parts. Make sure everything's nicely covered. Alright, get my brush clean off. This is cool. I got this at Temu also. It's a brush cleaner. It does a pretty good job. Put these away. I tend to spill them, so I'm going to try not to do that. Then I'm going to get the excess out, and you can see all the excess there. And you can see my brush is completely clean. It's not coming off on this. Alright, so let me mix up some black, and we will do our first coat. And you're not going to see a line. Normally you would, but you won't see a line because of the chameleon powder. Isn't that pretty? Look at the color changing. You can see the difference. That's so cool. Alright, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pouring My Art Out. Alright, we're going to make this extremely beginner user-friendly. Now, what I'm going to do is mix up my resin. And I'm using a 2-part resin, which I usually do. And I'm going to make 5 ounces, which you can see marked right here. So I'm going to put 2.5 ounces of part B because it's thinner, makes it easier to mix, and then another 2.5 ounces of part A, and that will give me 5 ounces of clear, and then we will mix our black in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm finished. I'll be back. Okay, so I've mixed it for about 3 minutes. And you can see there's no streaks in it, but I'm going to show you how to mix this. You want to make sure you scrape the sides, and you see how slow I'm going. You don't want to whip this, otherwise you will be full of bubbles. And if you're if you are a beginner, and you don't have a bubble machine, this is really what you want to do. You want to scrape the bottom, you want to scrape the sides, make sure you're getting that all mixed in. As soon as you don't see any streaks, you also want to scrape your stick on the side and incorporate that again. As soon as you don't see any streaks, but you do want to mix, this particular resin that I'm using is Dr. Crafty. I love the viscosity of it. And once I let it sit for about 10 minutes, it's pretty much bubble free. Now, we did mica powder this, or chameleon powder this, so the bubbles aren't really going to matter all that much unless they gather under his chin. Then you're going to be able to see them under his chin. But yeah, I wanted to show you this part. How slowly I'm mixing this. And that is a must if you don't have a bubble machine, which majority of us don't. But anyway, all right, I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. Let those bubbles rise to the surface. Then I'm going to give it a spritz with my 91% isopropyl alcohol. I just put it in a little bottle, little spray bottle. You don't want to spritz your chameleon powder because it will just drip all over the place and it won't be pretty. You'll be mad because you have to redo it. All right, I will be back, guys. Hello, we're back. It's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, most of the bubbles have gone away. I'll talk to you a little bit about safety. Absolutely wear your gloves. I have an allergic reaction to resin, and I would say at least half my face has peeled off because I'm a face toucher. Since then, I have been very, very diligent about watching how I touch my face. And I definitely wear gloves. And also, you want to have good ventilation. I use a fan behind me, and I leave my windows open, and I also wear safety glasses. I can't wear a respirator mask. I just can't. I can't. Now, if you can, that's exactly what you want to do. Or use the fan and leave your windows open. I keep my fan behind me and my windows are in front of me. So all those fumes go out the window. And this Dr. Crafty is extremely low fumes. As a matter of fact, the isopropyl alcohol makes more dangerous fumes than my resin does. Alright, so I just dipped my stick, stirred up my resin, wiped the back off, And what was left on the front is what I'm using. Now my paste is from Temu. It's DIY Craft. There you go. DIY Craft. These are my favorite pastes. As a matter of fact, I have to order some more. I have red, white, and black, and all of them are just beautifully shiny and gorgeous. I love them. They're very mixable. And as you can see, that is opaque. Now, once you put this in, since your resin has been sitting for a little bit, it's going to get a little warm. So you can expect that. And again, I'm mixing, but very slowly. All right, clean my stick off. Try to keep your area clean. It just makes sense. And you don't feel so confused if you've got stuff everywhere. Close your lids. All right. Now here we go. Now we pour. Now this is not going to fill it up like I said before. Because it is too deep, you definitely don't want it to flash cure because you talk about emitting some dangerous fumes and it could bubble and boil and you just, it's just not a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and slowly pour in here. And by no means is this enough to fill this. And you can see there are no bubbles. I really like Dr. Crafty. I get it on Amazon and it's, it's very inexpensive. I get a gallon for $63. That's 2 parts, half gallon each. But I can also get 2 gallons, which I often do. But this is my hobby. I love to teach and I love my art. So, I don't go crazy. I'm on a limited budget. I don't get hardly anything for free. If I am an affiliate of somebody, then I get that stuff free. But other than that, no, I don't. So this comes out of my pocket. So if you actually like this, please subscribe to my channel. I would definitely appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to take my little baby torch because I don't want to spray alcohol. I do see a couple bubbles coming up. And I'm just going to zap them. And they just go right away. Now, once this is filled up, you can spray the surface bubbles. But right now, I'm just zapping them, staying away from the mold because you can burn your mold. And it will seize to your resin. So you don't want to do that. Lots to take in. If you have to, watch the video twice. All right. Let's wait for this to cure and we'll go for the last layer. I'll see you soon. Hey everybody, we're back. This has cured completely. Now, don't be curious and pull the sides down to check to see about your chameleon powder or anything like that. You release a vacuum, and then when you pour your last layer, it's going to make some ugly little lines and bumps and stuff. So don't do that. I learned the hard way when I started, and it did not go well. So don't do that. Just be patient. It's going to adhere to your resin. So don't worry about that. All right, this is the last layer, and same thing. I mixed it up just like I did before. And we're doing the same thing here. Stirring, scraping the back, and then mixing. I mixed up 4 ounces this time. I'm thinking that's enough. I'm hoping it's not way too much. But I can't remember what this turtle holds. Now, you can do this technique in just about any beginner type mold. As long as you can get the chameleon powder everywhere on the surface or everywhere that you want it, you can use this technique. If you want to practice, this makes beautiful coasters. And that's actually a good way to start, is coasters. That's how I started. I actually watched Julie Cutts from Pouring Your Heart Out 3 years ago. And I was hooked. I couldn't believe what you could actually do with the resin and how beautiful it was. So I was hooked, and I invested a bunch of money into stuff I really did not need. You just need the basics. You need a good resin. Even though the resin that I primarily use is inexpensive, I find it's a fabulous resin. And works great on my blooms. If you want to subscribe, you can go back to my actual YouTube channel, Pouring My Art Out. And you can go through many tutorials. I have about 400 of them. Well, some of them are shorts, but for every short, there's a tutorial, a full-length video. So you should be able to see how I made them. So if you're interested in any of the short videos, you can go back and look at the actual tutorial. Alright, so we're going to pour this last layer. Keep your fingers crossed. I'm not always good at measuring how much is supposed to go in. Fairly good at measuring the resin, how it's supposed to mix. And I'm just tipping this so that it does fill up his head without causing large bubbles, and I see one right there. So I'm going to stop for a minute and make sure that goes all the way up in his head. And it is. There we go. And oh, it's going to be close, guys. It is going to be so close. Oh no. I may not have made enough. This happens a lot. I either make way too much or not enough. I'm going to have to scrape my cup. And then I should have enough. There's a lot of resin left over. When you scrape your cup, you can get it out. I'm just shy, so this should work. See, not everything goes as planned, although this might be just perfect. Let's see. Oops. It's just to the edge. It is not domed. I do like to dome it because it has less trimming, but this might be a good thing. I can show you how to trim, because it will have sharp edges if it's not domed. All right. So I'm just going to pop some bubbles, and now I can spray because the chameleon powder is covered. So I spray with isopropyl alcohol, and you can see those bubbles popping right away. So there you have it. I'm just going to watch for bubbles for a few minutes. And yeah, it's looking good. I'm glad I had that much. I had no idea that this thing took 10 ounces, which ultimately it did. well, maybe 9¼ ounces because I'm just shy of doming. All right, there you have it, guys. These will be cured in the morning because right now it's about 11 o'clock at night and I'm tired. But I did want to show you this tonight so that we could demold it in the morning. And then I will show you how to trim and embellish this little beauty. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Few seconds for you guys. Hello, welcome back to pouring my art out. He's cured. So let's get him out of here. See what we got to work with. And don't forget, we are going to embellish him at the end. Oh, the colors are gorgeous. Look at that. Okay, something weird happened right there. Looks like I hit it with something when I was poking in to make sure there were no bubbles. That's exactly what happened there. I can fix that. And I will do that here in just a minute. But yes, isn't he cute? What's this? Oh, that's just a thing. Purple shell, green head, green legs, green tail. And like I said, he will need to be trimmed. There's a couple ways you can do that. One of them is with a deburring tool, which I don't have. Another one is with your razor, but you have to be very careful. You just take it and slowly get those sharp edges off. Can you see that? Just like that. The corners are a little hard, not with a deburring tool, so I need to get one of those. Definitely need one. All right, so I'm gonna finish that. And then see what oh yeah, it goes all the way under his chin. How weird. See if I can't fix that. I'm thinking a little tack-it glue and the same color chameleon powder might fix that for me. I don't know. We'll see. It may not be fixable, but we're going to try. Okay, guys. I'll see you in a little bit. I think he's cute. Hey, everyone. So I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and you can't even see it. That worked. Thank goodness. All right, so we're going to do his eyes next, or start them. I'm going to take my thin Sharpie. I'm just going to outline them. And color it in a little bit, and then I'll get my thicker one and do it again. I just don't want to get it all over his face because it's kind of a pain to clean up. Although you can. You just take some alcohol and that takes care of it. You can do this with white also. I happen to like the shiny black eyes. They just look like deer eyes, I think. There. Then I'll put a white dot in to make them sparkle. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. This video is going to be so long. So I'll do the other eye, and I will put the white dots in, and we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so his eyes are done. Aren't they cute? I drew a little mouth on him, and his nostrils I drew in. Now the only other thing we're going to do is put a little butterfly on his head. And we do that with our tack it glue. You can use E6000. I just happen to like this. It dries clear and it doesn't make a huge mess. So we're just going to stick that right there. Make him all pretty. I was going to do rhinestones around his feet, but then it would have been a girl, and then I would have put a bow back here. Now you can certainly do that to yours if you want to. Use the same glue and some rhinestones. There you have it. We're calling him done. I hope you learned something. Again, please like and subscribe if you want to continue to see tutorials, because they're very long. But I try to teach you as best I can. So you guys have a great day. See you soon.